What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. Here we are again, counting down the top 100 key comics to invest in for under $100. Which, with each video, guys, I'm getting more and more excited. This is numbers 40 through 31. So, for those that have been following the videos, this is how it works. As we count down, the lower the number of the books, the higher the increase in value that these books have gained over the last 5 years. So as we get lower and lower, the books are getting hotter and hotter and hotter. All right. So again, we're looking at specifically that increase in value. All right. Before I get into it, if you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, please take some time to do so. We are almost at 5,000 subscribers. I can't wait to announce my 5,000 subscriber contest real soon. Check out all the awesome links below, guys, if you haven't yet. Check out how you can become a patron of the channel for only $3.99 a month, where you get extra perks. You get automatically entered into all my patron-only contests. Check out official Journals Comics merch link below. And of course, check out our Comic Book Canon YouTube channel link below, where we have our live shows every Friday night. But guess what? Like every Wednesday, it is A1 Wednesday, so I can't talk about these hot 10 books until I talk for a minute about A1. Now, this video, we got double perks going on with A1 here because we still have the rest of February. I know it's only a few more days, but we have the rest of February for their 50% off sale of all DC super titles. This does end at the end of the month. And of course, if you mention that I sent you at the register of any of their 3 locations, you get an extra 5% off. But not only is this still going on for a few days, but they also have a new sale going on. This is 30% off all modern back issues that are priced at least $1 or more. This is going to run until the end of March. And yes, again, if you mention that I sent you at the register, you're going to receive an extra 5% off. Remember, they have locations in Sacramento, Roseville, and Folsom. So if you're anywhere in the Northern California area, take the time to make a trip out to A1 Comics. Check out their website if you're not in the area, a-1comics.com. And of course, they are on IG at A1 Comics. They have their awesome live sales every Wednesday and Friday, and they're also on Twitch. All right, should we go into these books? I'm so excited, guys. All right, first up at number 40, Uncanny XMen, number 28. This is the first appearance of Banshee, and I'm glad we're starting this list out with a book that you may look at this CGC grade at a 4.5, because like I've said in other videos, I'm going to explain this to you. This isn't a list about near mint books and 9.8 grades. This is a list of top 100 under 100. But that doesn't mean it has to be near mint. So what you see here is a current CGC fair market value of about $100. That means that anything above that 4.5 is going to be higher than $100. But this book is still on this list because I think it is a key Silver Age book that if you can find in these grades for $100 or less are still a solid buy, a solid investment, and that has great potential to continue to increase over time. But let's look at these numbers and the data of what's happened over the last 5 years. So this 4.5 CGC is sitting at around $100 right now. 5 years ago, $56. It's a 79% increase in value. Average raw sale of low sales, $64. So let me explain average raw sale again, like I do in every video. You take all the sales, all right, you add up the sales price, and then you divide them by how many books sold. It doesn't pertain to grade. But what I did here was I took the low price sales and did an average out of those, all right? So most likely, your $64 range are going to be low grade to low mid grade. All right. But still, again, that is still a decent price for this awesome Silver Age book. We know that the X-Men are coming in the MCU, and there's been a lot of X-Men books on this list where I'm looking at characters that either weren't really in the Fox franchise, or if they were, they weren't done a lot of justice. They were just in the background. And we know that Kevin Feige said, the team that we introduce is going to look a bit different than that main team that we saw in the Fox franchise. Banshee could be one of them. Could absolutely be one of them. So again, there's a lot of MCU specs surrounding this book, but there's also the long-term stability of return on investment for a book like this, and that is why it's on this list. All right, we are moving on to number 39. All right, we know the Star Wars is hot. Star Wars is so hot. Here is another decently hot book. This is Star Wars number 43. It's the first appearance of Lando Calrissian and the second appearance of Boba Fett in a comic book. All right. We're not talking about, the magazines. I'm not going to get into all that. But the first appearance in continuity in the second appearance of Boba Fett continuity in comic book. Look, we know that issue 42 is skyrocketing. Next best thing, and it has the first appearance of Lando, man. Come on now. Current CGC 9.4 fair market value, sitting at right around $100. 5 years ago, $55. It's an 82% increase. That's solid. That is solid. That is solid. Average raw sale sitting at around $73. You have a Bronze Age book, kind of, later Bronze Age. So you're probably looking at anywhere from mid-grade, maybe higher mid-grade for about that price. So again, this book is hot, and this is one of those books that could absolutely, when you look at fair market value, and I say this all the time too, fair market value can change from week to week because the fair market value is still just an average of, what's currently going on in the market, and what's current today might not be current tomorrow. So keep that in mind. All right, we are moving on to number 38. Some more DC love. We got DC Superstars number 17. This is the first appearance of the Huntress. This book is, obviously, it's on this list, and it's getting hotter. We had the facsimile reprint done of this book in 2019, I believe. This is first appearance of the Huntress. Let's look at these numbers. Current CGC in a 7.5. So again, anything above that is going to be above that $100 value. But a 7.5 sitting at around $96. 5 years ago, $51. It's an 88% increase in value. Like I said, we're seeing more and more increases in value as we count down these lists. 88%. That's huge. Average raw sale sitting at about $43. Again, you're probably looking at a nice mid-grade book, straight down the line, mid-grade. I think the Huntress is a great character. And again, I've said this about multiple books throughout this top 100. DC doesn't need movie spec to drive the value of some of their key books. Does it help? Absolutely. Does a successful movie franchise help? Like the MCU? Absolutely. But it's not needed. It's not the only thing that drives these books in the market right now. And it goes to show the health of comic books in the secondary market. So DC, I'm telling you, some of these can be sleepers because if the DCEU ever starts picking up steam and we really get movies that deliver and some of these characters continue to be introduced, that's when these books are already gaining value for that long term. Watch them gain that spec value, and you're going to want to, probably have looked at some of these while there wasn't that movie hype. And again, like I always say in all my videos, don't buy any book just because I'm saying it. You have to have love for the book, for the characters. You have to be willing to take the risk. And I'm just here to throw out two things: data and my personal opinion on things. And it's that simple. All right, but we're going to move on to number 37, New Mutants Annual number 2. This is the first U.S. appearance of Psylocke. I have this book, and I'm thinking about possibly sending it to CGC this year. I don't know yet. We shall see. Current CGC in a 9.2, sitting at about $85. 5 years ago, $45. So a lot of interest has peaked around this book. Change in value, 89%. Solid. Average raw still sitting at about $17 for a mid-80s book. You can find a decent higher grade probably still for under $20. Near mint, no. You missed that boat, but higher grade, sure. All right, we're going to move on to number 36. Probably one of my favorite books on this list. This is Fantastic Four number 66. First cameo of him, Cocoon, and origin of him begins. And we all know that Adam Warlock, aka him, aka Adam Warlock, has so many key books and first appearances and all that, but this is where it all begins for him. Look, we got him teased. He was teased however many years ago now at the end of Guardians 2. He's showing up in the MCU at some point. And the delay, I feel the delay in that payoff coming has kind of kept these books kind of stagnant. And I don't mean stagnant as if they're cooling off, but you know, the trajectory hasn't been the same. But so again, I look at these books, all of the books surrounding Adam Warlock is, look, you know, now could be the time if you don't have them, because once we get anything further with him in the MCU, these books are going to really, really increase. So looking at these numbers, current CGC, 6.5 fair market value, sitting at right around $96. 5 years ago, $50. 92% change in value. Average raw sales sitting at about $45. And again, for a Silver Age book, you're probably looking at mid-grade, maybe lower mid-grade at that price right now. So again, I went after Adam Warlock before all the hype began. And I have a couple copies of this book, and I cannot wait to truly see him in the MCU. Next on the list at number 35, this is Wolverine #1, the first solo ongoing title. This book continues to stay hot. Wolverine continues to stay hot. And I've been talking about Wolverine like this. We are all hopeful that Wolverine's going to show up in the MCU, and we're going after the next best things. Hulk 181 is going crazy. So Hulk 180 is the next best. Well, actually, you know, that giant size X-Men number 1, but that's going crazy. Then you look for his first cameo in 180. 182 has even gotten a little peak spike in value because, you know, that's another cameo. He's there on the front page and then he disappears out of that story. But then you got that Wolverine limited series #1, and that's been getting hotter and hotter. And what do you got with this one? It's getting hotter. So let's look at the numbers here. Current CGC 9.2 fair market value, sitting right at around $97. 5 years ago, $50. Change in value, 94%. Average raw, $23. So again, I mean, this is a later 80s book, but black cover, probably harder to find a lot of high grades in this than your average book from around this time. So I know for a fact that you're not finding near mint copies for $25 or less. So I'm going to guess somewhere around higher mid grades for that value right now. But again, a book that has a lot of potential to grow. All right, let's continue on to number 34. This book, I've been talking about this book for so long. Nova, #1, the first appearance of Nova. Nova's coming too. Nova's coming. This book, once that happens, I feel is going to double in value. That's my guess. Don't take my word for it. I like speculating on this stuff, and you know yeah. Let's look at the numbers. Current CGC 7.5 fair market value, $97. 5 years ago, that was sitting at around $50. Change in value, 94%. So again, it's almost doubled over the last 5 years. I think as soon as we get any type of announcement, it's going to double again, just like that. Average raw sale sitting at around $49, and believe me, that's going to be a lower mid-grade book right about now for this one. This one's definitely gotten hot over the last couple of years. So, all right, everyone, we got 3 more on today's list. Next up is my lucky number 33, and my guy, Amazing Spider-Man #299. This is the second cameo appearance of Venom. This is where we see him in a couple of panels, and then boom, he makes his entrance on that last page. This book, again, with the hype and the increase in value of Amazing Spider-Man 300. What's the next best thing? This one right here. Let's look at these numbers. Current CGC 9.2 fair market value, sitting right over $100 at $105. Mine is a CGC 9.0, I believe. I think it's a 9.0, or is it a 9.2? I think it's a 9.0. Anyways, 5 years ago, $54. It's another 94% increase in sales. Average raw sitting at about 66. So you're going to find, probably a bit higher grades with this one, high mid to some very fines, maybe around that price. But again, the Venom character with Noel and with the Venom 2 coming out, and Venom and Carnage, and knowing that there's going to be a crossover with Tom Holland in the MCU, we just know that Venom and symbiotes are on fire. So I don't see this one slowing down anytime soon. All right, let's move on to number 32. This is Wonder Woman number 7, Volume 2. This is the first appearance of Barbara Minerva. She becomes the new Cheetah in number 9. Now, here's the interesting thing about this book. This book has gotten really high. I mean, let's look at the numbers, then I'll dive into some details. Current CGC 9.4 fair market value, sitting at around $89. All right. 5 years ago, $45. Almost doubled. That's a 98% increase in value. But an average raw sale is still sitting at around $6. Really interesting. But in January, a high raw sold for $52. So that's I put that there to kind of show you all that this average number doesn't really speak to grade, you know, and if a high raw is selling for $52, it really kind of invalidates that average raw. So either maybe there wasn't that many high grades being sold raw as of late, or there's a lot of beat up copies, you know, that are being sold. I don't know. I can't tell you. Now, I know there was a lot of hype around Barbara Minerva because of Wonder Woman 84. And it's tough with the reviews that Wonder Woman 84 got. I was entertained by the movie, but I was a bit disappointed in many areas as well. What they did with that film, I think this book possibly could cool off from here on out a bit. Might not be the best time to buy, but look, you have a 5-year trend where this book almost doubled still, and there's hints that we might see Barbara and Minerva's Cheetah in the third Wonder Woman film. So look, you never know. You never know. I see it possibly cooling off a little bit. Is it ever going to go down to where it was 5 years ago? I don't think so. And look, this is a sought after run. Even the common books in this run are gaining value. You know, you used to be able to find them for a couple bucks in back issue bins. Not anymore. You know, now you're looking at $4, $5, $6 plus for even some of the comments. So I don't see this book doing any harm long term, but I would just be careful short term, you know, and just kind of watch it if you're in the market for this book. If you could find one, if you could find a decent grade for probably under $20, I think that's a steal, even if it cools off a little bit in the short term. So that's my take on this book. But right now we are going to go into the last book of today. It's a bummer, man. When I do these videos, I just want to keep going, but I got to keep you all in anticipation. So the last book of today is number 31, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1. All right, this is volume 2 though. So before you get confused, the big hot one right now that could definitely not make this list is the volume 1, the limited series. So that is from a 3-part limited series before this volume came out in 1989. Now, I'm a big Ninja Turtle head. My first ever comic book was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, Archie Adventures, and I am so happy to have a Turtle book on this list. So this is really a book that has gotten hot amidst all the Turtle madness. Now, there is we're going to look at these numbers, but there is a direct version, a newsstand that could even gain more value on the market, I believe. But just looking at this one, the direct, let's look at these numbers. Current CGC 9.4 fair market value sitting around $90. All right, 5 years ago, $45. It's a 100% increase. Average raw sales still sitting at around $18 when I calculated these numbers. Here's the thing, though. Just the other day, a 9.6 direct sold for just over $200. So this one is still getting hot. And like I said, those fair market values can change day to day. Average raw, again, you might be looking at about a mid-grade book. But look, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are hot. This is the ongoing series. So we know that this one is going to continue to gain value as well. Probably not at the rate of that volume 1 limited. That book is just, I can't believe, well, I can't believe how hot that book has gotten. It is well deserved. So very happy that the last book on this list today was a Ninja Turtle book. I have all these books. Don't know what condition they're in because I loved them to death when I was a kid. I got all mine off the rack. Most of them are newsstands as well. So, but yeah, man, if you can get turtle books right now for a good value, you know, I would snatch them up. But that's just me. All right, everyone, that's our 10 for today. So, of course, I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. What books do you have? How many do you have? And which ones are on your radar? And what books do you think should be on this list that maybe just haven't shown up yet? But before we go, as always, I got to give a big shout out to all of my Patreon members, to each and every patron. I appreciate you all. Month after month, you continue to support my channel. We got a couple new ones on this list today, so I'm just going to run through it and give a big shout out to each and every one of you. Tyler, Keith, Jeremy, Sean, Michael, Comic Spunk, Jeff, Tricky Clicky, Philly Born, Alvin, One Shot Comics, Frankie's Aquatics, Fletch Comics, Joshua, Pedro, Hernani, Peter, Jason, Joe, Larissa, Sagi, Dan, Janie, B, Schnur, and Simon. Hope to continue to add some of you wonderful people. If you want to check out what being a Patreon on my channel is all about, check out the link below. It's only $3.99 a month, the price of one new comic book. You get exclusive Patreon videos every month. You get a Q&A where I answer all of your guys' questions. Even if you ask me 20 or 30 or 40 questions, I will answer all of them. We do a Patreon-only suggestion video. You get early access videos to videos like this and other spec and hot book and key book videos. And we also have Patreon-only contests that every patron automatically gets entered into. So again, big shout out to all my patrons. All right, everyone, that's the video for today. I can't believe we only have 3 more, counting down numbers 30 all the way to that number 1 book. I cannot wait. Thank you all for watching. Be well, and until next time.